Hey, good afternoon. How's everybody? Can everyone hear me? Mohammed, good afternoon. But I would, okay. Maricel, how are you? And I also have Samir and John. So how many of you, okay, you're joining. Two more people are joining. Now I want you to please turn on your camera. Okay, turn on your camera and you may remain muted, but please turn on your camera. Now, well, we have like five people so far, and all right, how are you, Monique? Yeah, I saw your hand. You can lower your hand. How are you, Monique? Now, everybody is pretty, I believe, quite familiar with Blackboard. How are you, Mohammed? Okay, you can also, if you are saying hello, you can also unmute yourself. Yeah,
Hi, how are you?
good. How are you?
Good, good.
So let's see. I'm still waiting for more people because there are 14 people on the roster. So hopefully it's gonna take. Hopefully it's not gonna take that much time. But let me take you first. Let me take you to the nuts and bolts of this class. So let me while waiting for people to join, let me share my screen. Okay, let's see. I'm sure. Okay, so all right. So you see my screen. It looks like this for now. Okay, but you'll be looking at my Blackboard. This is what I have already. I already emailed out to everyone, right? So you should be. I already emailed out to everyone, so you should be familiar with this already. So first thing you need to do when you come into the Blackboard session, go to the discussion board, okay? And today, right, it's you will be able to see only today's session, okay? Every day, each day, you will be able to see the forum of the day. You can't see this right now because this is this is what I can see, but from students' perspective, you cannot see the upcoming forums. But basically, you can see today's session, right? Today's forum. So please feel free to unmute yourself. Feel free to unmute yourself, okay? To express, agreement or disagreement. So everyone can see this, right? Can't hear you. You may unmute yourself.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. And if you click on it, right? See, I already see some people, right? Yeah, through the email, I already gave instruction. What you need to do is, first, on top, I mean, people who have already signed in, you would know what to do. Here, up here, it says create thread. So if you click on that, yes, now you can post your thread, and you put your, in the subject line, just put your last name first, okay? Last name, and then comma, first name, okay? Because this is the way your names are appearing in the roster, because it's always, you know, sorted by the last name. So use this order, right? Stick to this order, last name, comma, first name. And you don't have to say anything, but if you want to say something, let's say, hello, professor, reporting for attendance, right? That will be enough. And then if you hit submit, right, it's gonna show there. Now, again, I'm gonna delete this because this was just the an example. So this way, you will have your digital footprint. Okay, you will have, this is like the sign-in sheet, and instead of, you know, signing in with a pen, you will just leave your digital footprint there. So as long as you have signed in between the hour and 30 minutes past the hour, I will recognize that as present. Okay, any attendance report after 30 minutes past, then it will be recorded as late. Okay, and our class runs until 5:15, but by 5 o'clock, it will be the cutoff line. If you don't report attendance by 5 o'clock, it will be recorded as absent. Okay, and tomorrow, this forum won't be there anymore. You won't be visible. I can look into it, but it won't be visible to you anymore. Now, so once you sign in, now you can read other people's thread. First of all, oops. Now you see on top, if you click on status, it will be sorted. It will be sorted in the order, in the chronological order. So, of course, my thread, my posting was there already, so it will be on top, and it says today's lecture. If you click on it, it's got the instruction for today's lecture, right? So it says go to the course materials, topic 1, simple interest, videos part 1 through 4. Okay, so go to the course materials, and right now only the first topic folder is visible, but as time goes on, the other folders will become visible too, because they are not active yet, because it's going to be, as you can see, it's still hidden because this is the future topic. It will be available after July 22nd, right? So it will be visible at that point after 3 p.m., July 22nd, okay? So if you go into this folder, right, everybody can see this, right? Say something. I can't, because I cannot.
Yes, Professor,
Yeah,
we
thank
can
you.
see it.
Thank you, appreciate it. Because what you are seeing on your screen is exactly what I'm seeing. I cannot monitor who's watching or who's not in the Collaborate. So first of all, these two files, you need to download these two files. One is a PDF, actually it's a PowerPoint, PDF version of the PowerPoint. So that's the reading material, study material. It's the study material for this topic. And then this is the Excel file. That's also a study material, but that's mainly what we are going to use in class. That's what we are going to use for practice and exercise and for discussion and for lecture. It says files to go with the video. Please download the above files and use them with the video. So whatever is being demonstrated in the video is this Excel file. It's going to be, everything will be acted on in this Excel file. And then today's video, so this is like, reading assignment, actually. Think about it. And the only thing that didn't happen was it would have been very ideal. It would be very ideal if these reading assignments were assigned yesterday, but yesterday, today's the first day of the class. Yesterday we had the semester, summer session didn't even begin yesterday. So there was no way to pre-assign these videos, but normally, think of it this way. So you didn't watch these videos ahead of time, fine. But watch these videos today and tomorrow. We'll talk more about these videos tomorrow, what was covered in these videos tomorrow. Okay, I will go over it today as well, but we will have very limited time because today I will have to prep you. I will have to prep you up for, I will have to, let's say, I will have to give you tools. I will have to walk you through. I will have to walk you through this course, Blackboard features and the course outlines and things like that. So pretty much about 1 hour will be already consumed in that activity, in those activities. Then we'll have about 1 hour left, so we won't be able to cover everything. That's why tomorrow it's going to be, we will be talking more about what's covered in the video. And you bring your questions, right? You watch these videos today and bring questions to the collaborate session tomorrow, okay? And we'll discuss more about it. And of course, I will be demonstrating and also work with you what is being covered in these videos. Now, but again, this is like assigned reading, okay? Instead of just, it's not reading, it's watching. Okay, you have to read ahead, just like reading ahead before coming to class. Watch these videos ahead before coming to class. Okay, so we will talk more about it. And of course, there will be more, but they are there will be these will be assigned tomorrow. So you will be so that's today's topic, the and the videos. And let me go back to my mouse is okay. So go back there. And another thing, I would like to also take you to the course information. And I'm sure if you read my email, you must have explored, right? You must have explored all these, links in the left-hand side panel, right? So this is the greetings intro, and you won't be able to see this, but that's fine because it's standard syllabus, not summer syllabus. If you click on this, you will be downloading a PDF file, and that PDF file will be the syllabus. Okay, so I already have the syllabus downloaded, so let me quickly. Okay, I'm not quite sure. I'm actually opening my folder where I downloaded the syllabus. I want you to download the syllabus too, okay? And since I cannot see what's going on in my Collaborate, what are you? I have summer syllabus here. Where is my summer syllabus? So what are you looking at? Are you looking at just the, are you looking at like my folder? Is it what you're looking at, or is it another screen?
Yeah, we're looking at the folder.
You're looking into my folder, right? Is that right? So I think it's the screen. Okay. Come on, where did I put my? Gotta be there. Why is it taking so long? What? I don't have anything like that here. Okay. Must be here then. Okay, I have it here. All righty. So what are you seeing now? Do you see the PDF file? Do you see the summer syllabus?
Yeah, we see the document.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, good. What I'm asking is, are you looking at the syllabus that I'm projecting, or is it the syllabus that you downloaded? I mean, did you? What I want you. Oh, okay. So my syllabus is being projected, right? So yes. Now I'm going to talk about my email later because this email, BMCC email, is bombarded with a lot of junk mails. I mean, it's not really junk mails. Some of them are not. Some of them are not really junk mails, but they are all going into the junk mail. So I will give you another email, my personal email, not BMCC email, so that I can easily find your emails if you send something to me, because especially in this class, you will need to submit homeworks by email. And if you send it to my BMCC email, it will lots of times it will just automatically go to the junk mail folder, and it will be difficult for me to screen everything there and find your homework submissions. So but I had to put it there because that's the official one, but I'm gonna talk about that later. So here's the thing. What about the textbook? The textbook, you can click on this link, but you can. Now this will take you to the to Amazon, okay? And but don't worry about. I'm gonna. Okay, something. So business 210. I'm gonna get to the announcement I posted today to talk more about the textbook. Office hour. Actually, I'm not on campus, right? I'm not in campus, physically, that's my office, but, I'm not in campus. So obviously, office hour will be conducted by Zoom. I have office hour. I'm giving office hour for 30 minutes after this class is over, right? So Monday through Thursday. So if you want to see me during my office hour, you'll have to just click, Zoom link. But remember, this office hour is not for this class only. I have another class, which is Finance 100, starting after this class, at 6 o'clock. So my office hour is wedged between this class and the next class. So the office hour is meant to accommodate students from both classes, right? So it's only 30 minutes, but then, Monday through Thursday. So to optimally allocate the number of people that I can see, I can handle only one person. If it is a relatively simple issue, then I can accommodate two people. But if it is just to give ample time, just to give at least sufficient time, I can accommodate only one person per day. So, but since I have it's Monday through Thursday, if you're not seen today, you'll be seen tomorrow. To optimize, I will have to use appointment system. So to use office hour, to see me during my office hour, I will ask you to send me an email to schedule an appointment. And for that, you will need to use my personal email, because if you send it to my BMCC email, it's going to all go into the junk mail folder, and most likely, sometimes a large chunk of it will be automatically deleted. So, and as I said, I'm gonna give you my personal email later. Now, so these are the topics that we're gonna be covering, right? So the first topic is, it says banking, but no, normally, we don't do this, we're starting from this, simple interest and simple discount. And then, so throughout the entire session, we're going to be covering 7 to 8 topics. Normally, during the regular semester, I'm able to cover 8 topics. So usually, after depreciation, there's a time to cover stock valuation. And hopefully we will be able to cover this too. But if we don't cover it, anyway, this is an extra topic, so we're not going to be, it's not going to be on your final. Okay. Now, about the attendance exam policy, there will be 2 exams and 5 homework. Okay, 5 homeworks. Now, it says homework when quiz, but there will be no quiz. It will be homework, and the homeworks take up 40% of your semester grade. 40%, because homework is that important. It's your real hands-on work. Something I would want you to, do to show that you have learned it from my lecture and from the video, and you studied it on your own, and you are able to actually, do it the way you are taught. Okay, so and grading the homework is a very labor-intensive, time-consuming, and labor-intensive job. So it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time for me to, but I will show you the past examples of graded homeworks. But for now, then two exams are midterm and final. Okay, midterm and final. They are both 25% each. So if you add up these numbers, that's 90%, and your attendance is 10%. So let me talk more about the attendance. And this was, okay, I already talked about, virtual office hour there. So let me go to the announcement. All right, I would have to assume that you're looking at the same thing, right? Now here's the, I sent out something about attendance. I think what you can see, at this time, you're not able to see anything else, but let me switch to a student view. Okay, class protocol. Yeah, here, I gave you a detailed explanation about how the attendance point is earned. Actually, only the attendance reported, and I already said this, within the first 30 minutes is recognized as present. And each day, your attendance, the presence is worth 0.25 points. Now, summer session, we have 5 weeks, and we meet 4 days, Monday through Thursday. So if you're present every day throughout 5 weeks, then the total you earn from attendance, just attendance, is 5 points, because it's I broke it down somewhere here. I don't know. Yeah, 0.25 times 4, that's 1 week. And 1 week, then you earn 1 point, and a complete full attendance for 5 weeks is going to come to 5 points. And then the remaining 5 points come from your participation. Okay? So from time to time, I'll be in the Collaborate session, I'll be asking you some questions. And if you answer those, questions, and depending on the quality of your answers, if you give me a great answer, it's worth 1 point. Good answer, 0.5 point. Average answer, 0.25. Okay? So let's say you gave me 5 great answers, then you have earned 5 points. I mean, then you have already earned maximum 10 points, right? But then suppose you gave 6 great answers. Well, then, there's an extra 1 point, right? There's an extra 1 point. Or, depending on how many, great answers you gave me, your extra points could be, above 10. I mean, your attendance points can be greater than 10. This will always benefit. You. This is a plus, because think about it. The breakdown of your grades 90% of it comes from your midterm. First of all, 50% comes from midterm and final, 50% comes from homeworks, and there are 5 homeworks I told you. So if you got 100 in every homework, and let's say you got 100 in midterm and final, then the weighted average of all that will be 90, right? Because they are, like 25%, 25%, and 40%, right? And then with 10% attendance, they will all add up to 100. But there's no guarantee that you will consistently do, get 100 in everything. So, and realistically, that's not the case. So it's always, an added advantage to try your best shot at answering the questions I ask. Okay, and if you give me great answers, that's the way to rack up your participation points. Okay, now then about the textbook. So in the fall, it's Practical Business Math Procedures, BMCC edition, and this is BMCC edition. Actually, this is the BMCC edition. Somehow it cannot be. Let me click on this. That's not the one. Okay, that's not the BMCC edition. This is the BMCC. But again, you might wonder, oh, there's nothing. See, I've been using 12th edition until last semester, and the publisher is terminating 12th edition. They have already terminated 12th edition. It's only because I've been using BMCC custom edition, so there was still 12th edition, but they are terminating it permanently. So from the fall, it's going to be 13th edition. So they have no longer 12th edition, BMCC custom 12th edition. Okay, so that's why there's nothing here. It's blank. But then, because there's no custom 12th edition, what you can do is you can go to Amazon.com and just shop any 12th edition or any, because 12th edition is already old edition. There will be a huge bargain hunt. I mean, you can hunt for the best deal. Okay, you don't have to buy 13th edition, because 13th edition, if it is a new book, the price will be probably about $89 or $90. Do that. You can buy an ebook. Ebook might be, I don't know how much, but the good thing is there's a pretty good bargain for 12th edition, because 12th edition is no longer it's only secondhand now, right? It's an old book, secondhand, so that's fine. So get any 12th edition. Okay, it's just for this semester, I mean the summer session. You need the book, because although I post screenshots of the homework, but you will need your own book to do the homework, because or sometimes you may want some narrative. My class has no narrative. Okay, bear in mind. Verbiage. My class has no verbiage. Okay, it's devoid of any wordiness. It's devoid of any verbiage. So some people need verbiage. They have to fall back on verbiage. And if that's the case, then you need a book. Okay. This class is, the way I conduct a class, I take out all the verbiage. It needs to be just lean and mean. Only the nits and grits. Okay, only the nits and grits and nuts and bolts. No flesh, no frill. Okay, so because there is no way we can. And some students, if there are always some students who ask me, so when do we use the book? And when they ask that question, they are expecting that we are reading the book in the class. No, we don't read the book in the class. There's no time for that. There's no time. Absolutely no time. If you need the verbiage, you study, right? You study the assigned chapters, assigned topic, right? Study read the verbiage in your own time, but in the class time, during the class, there's no time for verbiage, okay? In this day and age, we don't have, dealing with the verbiage, there's no way we can cover everything on the plan, right? Everything in the syllabus by the end of the semester. There's no way. We cannot even cover half the milestones, okay? So reading is not part of this. Reading is not part of this class. Of course, reading comprehension is important, but I'm going to tell you later why reading comprehension is important, especially when you are trying to comprehend the homework questions. You should have good, analytical reading. But again, we don't need verbiage. So if you, again, it's not a big burden. It's not a big financial burden because the used book, 12th edition, used second-hand 12th edition on Amazon won't be even $10. So get the book. Another thing is the textbook. So let me get back to so with that being said, let me get back to the course materials. But before I move on, any questions so far? Let me stop sharing. So stop sharing. Okay, any questions so far? No questions? And how many people are here? Only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 people? I have this is disappointing. I have 14 people on the 14 people on the roster, and God. So let me quickly check. Discussion board, today's forum, to make sure. Okay, in the forum, in today's forum, I have like 11 items. Okay, someone did. Okay, Steve Haddad. Steve Haddad, are you there, Steve? Stephen Haddad? Okay, Stephen, where is Stephen? Now this is the problem. Stephen Haddad is not here, and he reported attendance, but he did it in the wrong Okay, let me share this with you so that this is sometimes people make this mistake. So I'll just share my entire screen. All righty. So do you see this? This is my posting about today's lecture, and Stephen posted here. It says, I don't see the create thread button. So if there is anybody, I mean, if Stephen is here, this is the information he needs. Do you see this? This is how you create thread. You click on this. Okay. Stephen, I will mark you present for today, but this will not be, this is exactly the sign-in sheet. I see the names here, so I will know. I will be first, checking out these names, right? If you reported attendance as a comment to my thread or reply to my thread, then it can be overlooked. It can be overlooked. Another thing I want to share with you is, okay, so this is, you're looking at the screen, right? So let me go to Collaborate. So you're looking at the Collaborate, right? Look at the, here's the setting. How it is set up. Required time in session. In other words, this is, what do you think that bar is? That highlighted bar, the colored bar is at 80%. That means attendance must be present for at least 80% of the session running time, or they are marked as absent. So this is the setup. That corresponds to like 30 minutes. We are meeting 2 hour 15 minutes. 2 hour 15 minutes is 135 minutes. 135 minutes, right? So 80% of 135 minutes is about 95 minutes or somewhere around, so it coincides with, it pretty much coincides with this criteria. If you are 30 minutes late, after 30 minutes late, you will be marked late. Absent, if you are not reporting attendance, if you are not present in class for 120 minutes, and even if you come in after 120 minutes, that's like you missed the entire class already, right? So if you are coming in 120 minutes later, you'll be marked absent, okay? And your time, whether continuously or not, the total time you must be present in the Collaborate session should be at least 80% of the session time, running time of the session. Okay, so you might wonder, oh, I didn't know about this either. Even until last semester, I didn't know. I knew I could set the parameters in other settings, but I didn't know about this. But I just discovered it this summer. So hey, there's a way. I'm getting better at this. There's a way to monitor your participation, right? And attendance. Okay. All righty. So, oops, I have to. So let me get back to today's topic, right? So I'm not gonna I'm gonna play these videos from time to time because our lecture starts with the first video, simple interest. Okay, and as I said, I want you to watch these videos later today. So in other words, our class requires your studying, right, in your own time as well, because you have to do the assigned video watching for the class. So it's not just the time you spend in class session. You have to also study in your own time. Okay. Otherwise, just watching the video and just listening to my lecture, it's not gonna. You're not gonna make it. You can't make it. As I said, it's a hands-on. This class requires hands-on exercise. Okay. So now, if you have downloaded this file, okay, let me also let me pull up that file. Where did I put that file? Okay. Let me. So, any questions so far? Any questions? Any questions so far? Anyone? I hope everyone is listening attentively. I hope. And as I said, when I ask, from time to time, I'll ask questions. And if you give me great answers, you earn extra points, right? So I'll have to share. Okay. I'll have to share application. But when I was, were you able to see the Excel file a while ago?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I may not have to switch between, applications. While I'm just projecting my screen, you can still see this Excel file, right? So now, you may be, at a first glance, you may be scared. You may be, daunted or intimidated to see this, but this is nothing. This is very, very minimal. So let's first think about what simple interest means. I'm going to come back to this later, but let me use something called whiteboard. Okay. Alrighty. You're looking at a whiteboard, right? Are you looking at, this is what you can see? Do you see the whiteboard? No? Can someone tell me if you can see the whiteboard?
No.
Okay, then I must share application. Okay. Okay. So this is the Microsoft whiteboard. Now, do you see the whiteboard?
Yes.
Ladies? Okay, good. There's a little delay. There might be a little delay. All right. So then, let's think about, let me use black. Okay. Oops, why is it? All right. Oh, what's going on? Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to come back to the Excel file because the whiteboard is should. Okay. So let me use. So you're looking at the Excel, right? Let's think about. So let me put it here. So you must have been, since the topic is simple interest, then you might wonder, okay, if it is, if there is something called simple interest, then will, is there something like complex interest? Now, there is no such thing as complex interest, but there's compound interest, okay? Now, then what's the difference between simple interest and compound interest? Please, I believe you can understand that this drawing is not really, drawing by hand, but it's drawing with the mouse. So my handwriting would look horrible because I'm using the mouse to draw. It's not really writing, but drawing. Compound interest. Now, first of all, it is used in different contexts. And what context are we talking about? It's basically long-term versus short-term context. And long-term, short-term, what is long-term and what is short-term? Isn't long or short subjective? Actually, no. In finance and accounting, long-term and short-term is not subjective criteria. It depends on a very objective criteria, and that objective criteria is 1 year. The line is drawn on 1 year. So, so long-term, short-term what? Investing, saving, investing, lending, right? Because it's interest, obviously, you earn interest when you lend money, right? And you pay interest when you borrow money. So this is basically a financial market situation, right? The financial market context and long-term financial. So it's basically, the distinction is basically between long-term financial market and short-term financial market, right? So simple interest is used in short-term financial market. Short-term. Please unmute yourself and feel free to speak, because if you type in something in the chat box, I can't see it, because while I'm using applications, like, in other words, what I'm looking at this screen, Excel screen, and while I'm looking at that, or while I'm looking at like web page, or while I'm looking at something else, right, I cannot see what's going on in the Collaborate session. Okay, so and you can understand. Okay, I will use, most of the times I will use acronyms or initials, because it takes too much time to write. Okay. So what can you tell? Simple interest is used, or simple interest rate. Let's also make a distinction here. When we say interest, it means dollars, right? 10% interest rate applied to $10,000 will give you $1,000 interest. Isn't it right? So the word interest means dollars, right? And interest rate is percentage. Okay, everyone is clear about that? When we say interest, right, that means, interest in dollars, and interest rate is the percentage. So simple interest rate is used in the short-term financial market, and compound interest rate is used in the long-term financial market. Okay, and what's short-term and long-term? Any timeline less than 1 year is called short-term. Any timeline longer than 1 year is long-term. Okay, so the line between long-term and short-term is clear. It's drawn exactly on 1 year. And short-term financial market has a name. It's called money market. Okay, short-term financial market is also called money market. It gives me a hard time. And long-term financial market is also called capital market. Now, I'm not going to spell out capital because it takes a lot of time. But you might wonder, oh, isn't capital C? Yes, capital starts with C, but K is the symbol for capital in economics. Okay, K stands for capital. So, so if what does this mean? If the maturity of the loan, if you're lending money or if you're borrowing money, that's loan, right? You're in the market for loan, and if the maturity is under 1 year, all the transactions, lending and borrowing transactions that happen in the short-term financial market is called money market. That's money market transactions, right? And if you're lending and borrowing for long-term, meaning with maturity longer than 1 year, that's called capital market transaction. Okay, so we are not looking at this now. Okay, we're not looking at this now. Okay, we'll come back to this later. Topic 2 is about compound interest. That's more interesting than this. So we are just looking at this time. Topic 1 is about short-term financial market. So let me give you a simple example, very simple example. It's 402. Um, uh, let's. My throat is getting hurting already. My throat is hurting already. So, can we have like let's have a very brief, like 3-minute break. 3-minute break. 402. So we come back at 405. Let's come back at 405. Let me just do something to my throat because it's hurting. Let me take care of my throat. Let me back. Let's get back at 405. Okay, it's 3 minutes. Okay, it's I was speaking all this time, and I just realized that I was muted. Um, so uh, so it's 4:07 already. So we're resuming, and let me get back to. But before I continue, any questions so far? Any questions? Okay, now so let's think about. Let's use an example. First of all, uh, you have. I'm gonna. Okay, somebody, please, if you. I cannot switch between the applications, software applications, and the chat window um, easily. I cannot monitor both, right? So when I hear that ding, I will have to leave this Excel screen, and I have to go to the Collaborate to see what's in there. So that will be dragging down uh, the progress. So please, if you have something to say while I'm on a different application, please, stop me. Just say, excuse me, professors, and so and so. Let's see. Let me go back to someone typed in something, I believe. All right, that was Mohammed. Okay, I got you. All righty, and so let me get back to. So let's do. I wanna. Let me pull up an example. Yeah. Before pulling up an example, let me give you a straightforward example. So suppose you have $10,000. We call that P because that stands for principal. P stands for principal, right? You have $10,000 and you put it in a bank, right? Because why? Because the bank is giving you 10% interest. Interest rate is 10%. Okay. That lowercase r, what do you think that stands for? Lowercase r. Anybody? What do you think that r stands for? Hmm? Anybody?
Rate.
Yeah, great. And
Rate.
who said that? Who said that?
Monique.
Monique. Okay. All right. I'll make a note of that, Monique. It's not a great answer, but it's a good answer. I mean, because not that it is not great, but the question was relatively simple, right? So I'll give you a point.
Isn't it interesting rate?
Point? Huh? Did you say
Isn't it
something?
interesting rate?
Yeah, it's an interest rate. Yes, but yeah, interest rate. That's also a good answer. Yeah, but R because a symbol doesn't have to be two word, right? It's just one initial, one act. So who said interest rate? Is that still Monique or someone else?
Yes, it's still me.
Where's Monique? Yeah. R stands for rate, interest rate, right? Good. So I'm giving you 0.5 extra point. And then our next question is then let me use I for interest. And remember, interest is in dollars. Interest is in dollars. Monique, I said it's a good answer, but not great answer. Not because your answer was not great, but the question was rather very simple. Okay, if it was an answer to a very complex question, then uh, you could have, given a great answer. But the question itself was already a very simple answer, right? So then we all easily understand if the principal is 10. Another thing. Oh, here's one more. I should have actually. So if interest rate is 10%, that means for how long? I mean, this interest rate applies for how long? I mean, they give you 10% interest rate uh, for keeping your money, putting your money in the bank for how long? Hmm? Anybody? Okay,
Time.
so next question. What do you think that T stands for?
Time.
Time, yes.
Timing.
And time, 1 year, right? Now, basically, all and who said time?
Hannah.
Hannah. Okay, Hannah. Okay, that's another 0.5. Again, not because it's not a great answer, but the question was easy enough, right? So 0.5 point for Hannah. Now this 10 always the interest rate is expressed as annual. All interest rates are all the rates, and every there is a reason why R is a symbol for interest rate, because R in a broader sense, in a broader context, R stands for rate of return. Rate of return. Okay, rate of return. So it's not just the interest on your principal, but also in investing, if you put your money you buy stocks, and when you calculate your rate of return, there can be monthly rate of return, quarterly rate of return, but basically all rates of returns are expressed as annual. Okay, that's you can convert annual rate into a monthly rate or quarterly rate, but the starting point, the bottom line is all rates of returns must be all uniformly expressed in annual. So basically that means what does APR mean? That's annual percentage rate, right? So that means you have to keep your money $10,000 in the bank for 1 year, then you will earn 10% interest. Okay. What if you don't keep it for 1 year? Well, it will be pro rata, right? For example, you kept money for only 6 months, and of course, by that fraction, 6 months is half year, so uh, uh, you get only half of that, half of 10% is 5%. But again, if it is just regular savings, you will get. If it is not, if that is not a regular savings, but something like CDs, if you don't live up to the CD contract, you forfeit. You forfeit the 10% entry. You don't even get it. Now, anyway, the point is, we can easily figure out what the interest is. We already know the interest is 1K, because it's 10% of 10K. But if you think about it, if break it down, it's basically 10K times 10% times 1 year. Isn't that right? If you break it down, how you arrived at 1K? Well, it's because it's 10K times 10% times 1 year. So if we translate it algebraically, in other words, if we want to label it, this is what? This is P, isn't that right? Principal. And this is times R, right? Times R times T. Okay? Everyone is okay with that? Everyone is clear about it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I can rewrite this. I mean, I can generalize this. You know, algebra is, this class is actually algebraic modeling, class for algebraic modeling. So because algebra can capture the logic behind it, right? So interest, we can express interest algebraically as P times R times T. Okay? Now you may have also noticed that something. P. Why is only P the only thing that is in uppercase? Yes. Dollar value is, you know, the symbol for quantity, like, you know, dollar value, length, weight, all these things are in uppercase, okay? But the rate, time, these are in, you know, percentages, and, you know, and time, they are in lowercase. You know, that's the convention. That's the convention, right? So now, see, this we started by defining what interest is. Interest equals P times R times T. Okay, so now we have this formula. Interest is P times R times T, right? And suppose we have a little different scenario. So you put it for 2 years. What if, you know, time is not 1, but what if time is 2? Then, in that case, what if time is 2? Well, simple. Then is 10K times 10% times 2. And what will you get? Yeah, of course, it's going to be 2K, right? Your interest for 2 years will be 2,000, right? But then, what if you don't even remember when it first started? You know, distinguishing between long-term financial market from, you know, short-term financial market. I said simple interest rate applies to a short-term financial market or money market, right? You remember that? Everyone remembers that? So then, will this be a realistic scenario? No. When you put the money for 2 years, in reality, no simple interest rate is not used. We will have to use compound interest rate. But this is just an example to show to make it more realistic. Then what about if time is 3 months? And then again, we simply plugging it into again, our formula is still, P times R times T. Then what do we do? 10K, right? Actually, this 10K. I mean, I forgot to put K there. And times 10%. I made a mistake there. Come on, where? I mean, this is interest rate, right? There should be no dollar sign. Now, times what? What do you do? Times what? 10K times 10% times what? 3? Anybody?
0.5 maybe.
0.5? 0.5
3 over
means
12.
what? 3 over 12. Yes. Who said 3 over 12? Who said 3 over 12?
Monique.
Monique. Okay, another 0.5. 0.5. Okay, Monique. Yes. It will have to be. Look, interest. What did I say the interest rate is? Interest rate is basically annual, right? Interest rate is annual. So we have to convert, if time is given as months, not years, or days, not years, then we have to convert it into year. And how would you convert 3 months into a year? You have to divide it by 12 because 1 year is 12 months, right? You have fractional year, right? 3 over 12 is what? 1/4, right? 1/4 is, a 0.25, right? But, we'll get to that. So then, if you do this, whatever it is, it will be, if it is 1 year, it's 1K, but it's 1/4 of a year, so it will be 0.25K, 0.25K, right? What is 0.25K? Of course, it is, 0.25K, $250, right? Now, then think about it. Doing it, if you want to do it like this, then, every problem, I mean, I have to solve 2-year problem and 3-year problem one by one. I have to solve it all over again, one after another. So what am I going? This is why Excel is needed. If I set it up in Excel, so I'll just copy something here. We'll just. I'm just copying the label. So okay. Just to save some time, I just copied. But you know, so first, if you were doing it from the scratch, or in the top row, I put the label, right? You enter the label in the top row, and then we're going to put, you know, data. We're going to put input data right below it. Now, for your information, it is already formatted. It was pre-formatted, right? I already formatted the data appropriately for its own units, because you know what has to be in the principal has to be in dollars. So using you know, go to home and see there's you know, number format, right? Number format. I already selected accounting format, right? Currency, right? Currency or accounting, that's fine. Currency. This I already I selected, you know, percentage, right? And then there I selected, you know, nothing. Just, you know, this is a just pure number. And then forget about FV, but you know, I'm gonna get to that later. I'm gonna move this to the side a little, and I'm gonna, now think about it. What if time, in this case, in our first example, time was given as years? There's no problem. But what if time is given as months? Okay. What if time is given as days? So that's why I provided 3 columns for time, because time can be expressed in years or months or days or even weeks, but that's fine. We'll worry about weeks later. Most commonly used time representation is in years, months, days, right? So here, but in the second problem, right? In the second problem, I'm gonna copy and paste, right? I'm gonna copy and drag down. This time, 3 months. Okay. Now let's think about the interest. We can now see, all we need to do is, because interest is P times R, R times T, get the interest there. right? And we have to make some adjustment here because as I copied it down, it automatically added 1. So if you had 1 to 10%, if you had 1 to 10%, you might say, isn't it 11%? No, no, 1 means 100%, right? 10% is 0.1. So adding 1 will make it, 110%. So we got to make, make it, So here, let's think about it. Here's the thing. We cannot use, we cannot use months because interest rate is always annual. So what do? We will need to divide it by 12. Well, what do? Do I put 3 over 12? No, you don't do that because that's called hard coding. If you do the hard coding, your formula won't adapt to the new input environment. So we'll leave it like that for now, and I'm gonna add another. I'm gonna copy that one and place it here. Okay, so a separate table here, and look at this separate table. What is it? What do you think it is telling you? Don't bother with the first two, but look at months. What does it say? 12 months, right? In a year. And weeks, there are 52 weeks in a year. What do you think that is? Of course, days, but I'm going to get to that later. But for now, so how do we convert months into year? All you need to do is, so you see what I'm doing? Any computation in the cell, any formula in the cell starts with equal sign. It has to start with equal sign. I'm putting in a very simple formula. What is that formula? Converting months into years. First, you click in. You might wonder. Did the professor type in N37 there? No, I didn't type it in, and it's actually annoying to actually actually keep track of what. Is it N37? No, you have to look it up. You have to look up what cell number or what cell reference the input data is. But without bothering to look it up, you can simply click. Using the mouse, you just click this into that cell, then it's pointing to N37, and then click in. You're dividing it by 12, so data is there, right? This is called soft coding. Did I remember I said a while ago, if I enter 3 over 12 there manually, that's called hard coding, right? But hard coding, you should always be aware. You should be always aware of the hard code. In other words, you should prevent hard coding because hard coding makes your model useless. Okay, I'm going to get to that later. So if you do that, that will turn months into years. Then for interest, all you need to do is simply dragging it down. Oh, one thing I forgot was that our principal was 10,000, not 1,000, right? So here we got we solved our two problems, right? Two examples using Excel. And the benefit of using Excel is, for example, again, suppose we have three problems with the same input data. If you have same input data, I can do this. I can, yeah. Suppose we have a third scenario where you put it in the bank for 145 days. Okay, 145 days, you understand you see, I just copied and dragged it down, and this saves a lot of time. Now think about it. Instead of manually typing it in every time, if you copy and paste the data, input data, it saves you, as long as it's the same input data, it saves you a lot of time. Now, and also what I did here, remember what I did here was, making this cell equal to this, and then as I copied, it gets replicated. So then this cell will be pointing to this cell. K38 will be pointing to K37, which is pointing to K36. So it will be the same data value that gets repeated. Okay? Does everyone understand what just happened?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. Yeah. So now, next question is, so to solve this problem, we must convert 145 days into years. So we all already know 1 year is 365 days. But that's called exact interest year, exact interest year. But in simple interest, there's also 360 days a year. It's called ordinary interest year, ordinary interest year. So how is it different? But let's think about it. Let's first try to do it by ordinary interest year. So if we use ordinary interest year, then we need to divide it by 360. And that's 0.4 year. Now, we know what interest is going to be. You don't need to do anything else. You just need to copy and drag it down. Okay? And when you, this is the thing, when you copy, it's not the number that's being copied, because inside the cell, what's in there is the formula, right? It's the formula. So what gets copied is the formula. And when you copy, Of course, you can use, you can go to a home, you can use copy icon, and then you can paste. But also what you can do is, see, have you noticed before that the cursor changes as you move around the cell? Have you noticed that before? Anybody? Have you noticed that before? The cursor shape, the shape of the cursor changes as you move around, move over the cell. First, normally this is the shape of the cursor, right? When you select a cell, this I would say thick white cross or a fat white cross. That's the shape of the cursor. And you see, when you select a cell, there's a borderline. It's like a green borderline around the cell, blue or green borderline around the cell. And you notice that there is a square dot. There's a square dot in the lower right corner. Square dot in the lower right corner. And if you bring your cursor right above it, it turns into what? It turns into a thin black cross. Thin black cross. Also, if you move the cursor, if you bring the cursor on the borderline, it turns into arrow-headed, right? It turns into arrow-headed cross. Why are they different? Why there are three different cursors, three different shapes of cursors? It's because they do different things. The white, it doesn't do anything. But arrow-headed, when it is arrow-headed, you can move this cell. Okay, you can move it to anywhere. I'm not going to do that. When you bring it to the lower right corner, that means you can copy and paste. And usually you can copy it up or down or left or right. But, since our problems are vertically stacked, you just drag it down. First, you'll have to hold the left mouse button gently, hold the left mouse button gently, and drag it down. You have to press it. You have to hold the left mouse button. Oh, there was, so everybody is doing this. Maybe I forgot to mention, this file, this is the file that was in the topics folder. I told you have to download these, Excel file, the reading, the study material and the Excel file. And if you downloaded that Excel file and opened it, or you can just, you could have copied my template, but if you just open the blank Excel file and blank Excel spreadsheet, then you could have also worked on it. Anyway, so by dragging it down, we got it. Next thing is, okay, I'm gonna drag down, and here, let's use exact interest here. So this is ordinary. Actually, normally I don't do this, because in the cell, there should be no text. There should be only numerical data, because text is not data. Okay, you have to understand. Text is not data. Text is, so formulas cannot process text. So it has to be only numerical data. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to review, comment. Okay, and this is I will put a comment there. Ordinary year. Done. Here I'm gonna. So everyone is following, because it's hard when I don't see any reaction, and there's no way I can see reaction. So I don't know if half the class is lost or, but again, Blackboard monitors and the Collaborate monitors whether you are, paying attention, whether you are in the session 80% of time still. You're logged into the session and you are shirking, you're doing something else. There's no way Collaborate can monitor that. But again, from time to time, you have chances to earn extra points. But if you are goofing or playing a hooky, you lose those extra points. You lose those chances, the extra points, and it's to your own detriment, right? Obviously, you reap what you sow, right? You get exactly what you you get the output, from your input. So if you are not paying attention, if you're playing a hooky, playing a true, you harvest poor result, right? You harvest poor outcome. You put in honest work. You put in serious work. You harvest, good outcome, good output. So now for this one, I will annotate exact year. Okay. All right. Then that means I will be converting 145 days into years. I will divide it by 365. There you go. You may say, oh, there's no difference. It doesn't show because it's only showing 2 decimal places, but if it shows, let me increase that. Also, Excel knows. Let me just drag it down first. You see there's a difference. There's a difference. Right? There's a difference. You might wonder, oh, but how can there be a difference? I mean, aren't the input data all the same? No. Let's try this. If I go to home and go to the numbers, and you see there are these 2 icons. One looks like numbers go to the left. That means, decimal places will increase decimal. You increase it just by 1 digit. You already see the difference, right? Increase it by 2 digits. You see? Because when Excel was showing only 2 decimal places, it is rounded. And when it is rounded, they look like they are the same. They look like the same. But Excel knows, although on the surface it shows only the rounded number, but Excel knows the algebra behind it. Excel knows the math behind it. So Excel keeps track of that. So it will result in different results. So here's the question. I wonder if, here's the question. So why do they use ordinary year? Why do they have 2 different years? Why do they have ordinary interest year, and why do they have exact interest year? Why? Does anyone? So let me
Double
break.
doctor, Professor, why do they?
Yeah, why are there two different years in terms of number of days? Why do they have ordinary interest here and why do they have exact interest here?
Is it because of the leap year?
Leap year? No. If the leap year, leap year, leap year, you have just one more day. It's leap year, it will be at 366 days in a year, leap year. Is it the other way? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because February has we have until February 28th, right? But leap year, we have 29 days in February, right? So if it is a leap year, if it is because of leap year, then it should be 366. I mean, but obviously 360, we know that's not, 360 is not, by any common sense, that's not the number of days in a year. So it is clearly artificial. It's artificial, isn't it? It's 360 is artificial, clearly, right? But why do they call it ordinary? I mean, if it is ordinary, 365 seems like ordinary. But actually, 365 is the exact number of days in a year, right? But look at the interest amount. When we used ordinary interest, which one gives you greater interest? Which one gives you greater interest? Ordinary year or exact year? Which one gives you greater interest? Anyone? Which one gives greater interest?
The 365.
No. Oh yeah. Which one gave us it 360? 360. Didn't you see this was the ordinary year, right? We divided it by, look, we divided it by 360. And when we used ordinary year, it gave us greater interest. And you might wonder, how come? I mean, 360 is greater than 365 is greater than 360. But how come smaller number gives us, look, this is, you have to remember that you are dividing by these numbers, and this is something generally you don't get very easily. In a division, think about it. If you are dividing the same numerator by two different denominators, one denominator is greater than the other. One denominator is greater than the other. So then dividing the same numerator by right? You understand it. The top number, the upper number, right? Dividing the same upper number, same numerator by a greater number or by a smaller number. Which the result is called fraction, right? The result of the division is the fraction, right? In other words, outcome. Which one gives you a greater outcome when you divide the numerator by a bigger number or by a smaller number? Which one gives you a greater outcome? This is a logic. It's just simply a logic. Did everyone understand my question?
Yes.
Did everyone? Yeah. When you are dividing a number, the same number, once by a greater number and next by a smaller number, which one gives you a greater result?
The 360.
Yeah, when you are dividing by a smaller number, isn't that right? That's a straightforward mathematical logic, isn't it right? When you
Yeah.
divide 10 by 5 or divide 10 by 6, which one gives you a greater result? Of course, when you are dividing by a smaller number. Divide 10 by 2 or divide 10 by 4, which one gives you a greater result when you divide it by a smaller number? It's a division, right? So it's a fraction. When you are dividing something, when you divide by a smaller number, it results in a greater number. That's simply because of that. When we divided by 360, ordinary interest here, we got this. But when we divided it, when we used exact interest here, we got this, right? The numerator is the same 145. So when you're dividing the same, so this logic will, in the long run, this will make a difference between understanding this logic will take you far, right? And being able to apply this logic will take you far. Now, so then next question. If you are saving money, if you're putting your $10,000 in the bank for 145 days, which one would you prefer, exact interest year or ordinary interest year? Did everyone understand my question? If you're putting your $10,000 in the bank, right, would you prefer exact interest year or ordinary interest year? Come on.
Exact.
We've done this. Who said that?
Hannah.
Hannah, didn't you just say when dividing by ordinary, a smaller number, it results in a greater number? Didn't you just say that?
Yeah.
Wasn't it you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is the answer different now? You're contradicting your own answer. You're contradicting your own previous answer with your second answer.
Yeah, but
Suppose
I rather have the 397 interests.
Oh, you would rather have smaller interest than bigger
you mean
interest?
okay? No, I get what you mean now. Yeah.
If you are a saver, you're putting your money in the bank, right? $10,000 for 145 days, or whatever, less than 1 year, like 270 days or whatever. Would you prefer using ordinary interest here or using exact interest here? And the answer is simple. You would prefer if the bank applies ordinary interest here. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
But suppose you are the bank. You're not the customer. You're not the depositor, but you're the bank. Which would you prefer to apply? Ordinary year or exact year?
Then if I'm the bank, I want the 397.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other words, you would prefer. That's the dollar amount of interest. But if applying, are you going to apply ordinary interest here or exact interest here if you're the bank?
then it's exact.
Exact. Yes. Now, why think about it? Put yourself in the position. If you are the depositor, you want a bigger interest. But if you are the bank, you don't want to pay bigger interest. You want to pay smaller interest. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, because see, you are when you may have never thought about it. You may have never looked at it this way, but you may have never looked at it this way. But um, when you put your money in the bank, you are actually you're passively lending money to the bank. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yes. When you are putting your $10,000 in the bank, you are passively lending to the bank. Make sense?
Yeah.
And also, from the bank's perspective, bank is doing what? When you put $10,000 in the bank, from the bank's perspective, the bank is lending money or borrowing money?
Borrowing.
Yeah. The bank, they never asked you, they never begged you to lend them money, but by putting your money in the bank is, by taking deposit, they are passively borrowing money from you. It's all passive, right? You're not you may never thought you were lending money to the bank, but the fact that the bank is paying you interest is indicates what? The fact that the bank is paying interest to you indicates that you are the lender, bank is the borrower, right?
Yeah.
So, and putting yourself in a lender's position and putting yourself in the borrower's position makes it quite different. Because if you are in a lender's position, you prefer a bigger interest. If you are in a lender's borrower's position, you prefer to pay smaller interest. So this is it. You would prefer to use ordinary interest here, but actually you would prefer the ordinary interest here as a lender, but this hardly happens. Why? Between the bank and you, who has the more muscle? Who has the more muscle in this equation between you and the bank? Who can flex more muscle?
The bank.
The bank, because bank is the industry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just, unless you are like Jeff Bezos and you have $2 trillion, $200 billion of wealth, or you have like $2 trillion in wealth, right? And Jeff Bezos is, I believe, $200 billion, but you are managing $200 billion, and you take this $2 billion to the bank. Of course, nobody just puts $2 billion in the bank, but you have such a huge money, then you can flex the muscle. You can say, oh well, I want to park my money I want to park $10 billion. You walk into a bank branch, right? And demand to see a bank manager, the branch manager, and the branch manager will, let's say, you speak to the branch manager and you say, I handle like $10 billion, and I want to park this $10 billion just, for 100 days in your bank. What kind of interest are you going to pay? And if it is like this, then you may flex the muscle. You may dictate the interest rate. You may Because think about it, from the branch manager's stance, from the branch manager's position, letting this, if you lose this customer, right, he's gonna be ruining his career, because from the headquarters, if they heard, oh, you turned away a potential $10 billion deposit just because you failed at negotiating the interest rate, then that would look very bad on your resume. You may get demoted, or you may lose your job. So, but of course, this doesn't happen. This is not going to happen. But unless you are like that, you don't have the muscle between the bank and an ordinary customer, at best, who has at best like $100,000, less than $100,000. You cannot dictate it, but it's the industry that dictates it. So, and just turn the table around. If you are the borrower, and most of the times, you are the borrower, because people go to the bank to borrow money. And if the bank is the lender, right, bank will apply ordinary interest here, right, because the bank is the industry. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. All righty. So I think we're out of time. We can I'll leave it like this. I will save this file like this, and I'm gonna reuse this tomorrow. And I'm gonna also it's been 2 hours, and I'm gonna post the recording. This session is being recorded, so I'm gonna post the recording. It's a long video. I mean, if you want to go over today's session, look it up. It's gonna take some time, but I'm gonna post it. So that's it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay. All righty. Any other questions? We have just about 5 minutes. All righty. If you have no other questions, then we'll call it a day. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and let me stop sharing and stop